So guys, it's time for first aid. We had some people sending in their clips. You just did the clinic week, some coaching. Obviously, people got jealous, so we offered them to run through some clips, and it's the back loops, the 360s that always come back. We start with Thomas. He's sending in on these clips on handstone. And first up is the back loops. He says that he lands about 20% on average. When I crash, it's mostly like in the videos that we're gonna watch. I'm stuck in the progress for quite some time now, but I do not get a lot of jumping days to practice. So let's see if we can help him out and give him a little push on his back loops.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Here's the first one. Yeah. You can already see one mistake here.
Almost landed.
Seems to be like, it's just basically the landing where he struggles the most. You can tell. I think basically the biggest mistake he's doing here is he's not pushing the gear forward as he's rotating and pointing down, you know? And as well, you can see in some of them, he tries to rotate pretty early instead of getting the projection straight up. You see, here he landed on the rail, you know, and basically what you want to do is, this one he did it better. You can see already he came around and he landed already in a much better position. The problem on the last one, it's like on some of the other ones, as he comes down, he's not really pushing the gear forward. Here he's doing it a little more, but you can see the sail's pulling him out of position. So basically, when you get to the top, you want to tuck yourself into the boom, like into the sail, just so as you come around and the power hits the sail again, it doesn't pull you over the sail or over the rig. So then what you do is you just tuck yourself and you start, as you spot the landing, you look over your shoulder, you spot the landing, you start pushing the gear forward. You know, so that allows for this smooth landing, you know, nose first, and then because basically the gear's in front of you, you are having the control of the power as well. You are close to the boom, you are close to the clue, so when the power hits, it doesn't like over-rotate you or anything like that.
And the hands should be a bit farther back, because to do exactly what Marc was saying, he could bring the equipment more in front of him if the hands will be farther back, to arc himself a little bit more and absorb the landing. Having the hands back he wouldn't have been pulled so much forward, having hands farther back, because then you will compress yourself better with your weight in the back when the nose touches, and then the boat will come out of the water easier.
Yeah, you can see here how open he is.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the point where you don't want to be open. You want to tuck yourself into the sail, and then you can see he's looking over his shoulder. That's good, but here, you see, he's really open.
He leaves the sail open too much.
Yeah. So that's the reason why he gets kind of pulled over the rig when he lands, just because all that power just keeps. You know, it doesn't get better. You know, when the wind hits the sail again, you know, it just loads you. So that's the main reason why. Here you can see he's like trying to push the gear forward a little bit, but you need to really exaggerate that, you know. But mainly the biggest problem on this one is just like this distance from the boom. He doesn't have the control of that power. So you want to tuck yourself into the boom, you know, and really control that power going into the sail again. Yeah. And then this first one, as we spoke about, I feel like mainly the problem, it's like, you can see it's like hanging off the front of the boom on this one. You know, he's not really like pushing that gear forward. You know, the same here. Like he's just kind of going with the rotation instead of like trying to push that rig in front of him. You know, so here you would have been, see he's like kind of hanging more towards the front, so when he lands, you can see he has less power than on the last one. So he is closer to the boom because there's less power, but you can see he's hanging more to the front of the boom instead of having the rig in front of him. So that's why he kind of pinches the nose and then just kind of goes like that.
No, very good tips. You have seen something that we missed, Victor?
No, it's pretty much what he said, and yeah, the hands further back would have allowed him to be with the sail more close, and then he would have gone even a little bit higher.
And this one is the best, eh? The last
Yeah,
attempt,
this
he's
one is
really
the best.
close.
Yeah, you
Here
can
he should
see
have
the-
been.
But if he would have closed the sail more, then the landing would have been perfect.
Yeah.
That's why he gets pulled by the sail, because he
Yeah.
still have too much power with the sail open.
Yeah.
People think you have to open the sail on the backloop for landing, but it's the opposite.
You have to keep
You
it
have
closed.
to keep it close, and when the board just put the landing and the nose touches, it's gonna open by itself.
It's the power
Yeah.
that is coming into the sail again. That
All
allows
right.
you-
Yeah, Thomas, let's hope that it goes from 20% on average now after these tips to at least
It's gonna
70.
land 8 out of 10 now.
8 out of 10 now. These tips. Good. Then next up for him are the Wave 360s, also from
360s.
Thomas. He landed one so far on a good day, he says.
Yeah.
But trying more at local spots, these are his usual attempts.
So it's really important for the Wave 360 to have a good section. Here the wave looks quite softish, you know, so it's always harder and to go back into the wave when he does it. You can force it once you learn the technique, but always, what I would say with the Wave 360 to land it back into the wave, you can see he has the rotation already.
Yeah.
But like the first thing you need to look at is the section where you do it. That's mega important. And then once you have the right section, which is either when it's like steep like that, or like it's breaking here and then it's open here, and you want to place the board right into that power source.
Yeah.
Then you need to look at board placement. Putting the board flat into the lip. That's like a key thing.
That, and to me also, when you bottom turn, this elbow have to do this, like this position, so you go more vertical with the board, and you keep the speed and the projection into the lip. Like if you stay like relaxed a bit like this, you lose a lot of speed just before you hit the lip. So if you bring the elbow here, you're gonna bring the hip more vertical, You're gonna bring the board more vertical just because you do this with the hip. And this last second, when you touch the lip, brings you into the wave easier. Here you can see the elbow thing when he's going into the lip.
This shot is a little
No, he says that the waves
see?
are often soft. Yeah.
He could.
But if you look at this, like the board is like kind of on the rail instead of like being flat into that white water. So that's really what's punishing him here, because if you put the board flat, there's more surface connecting with the wave. So you're gonna get all that projection backwards, like to where you're coming from. So you can see he kind of goes through the lip and then he gets the smack after. So like a little too late. And then the other problem I can see in some of these other ones, if you see, the clue stays open there. Like on this one, for example, the clue on that one, sorry. Yeah, exactly. You see, here he connects and then he's like fully, like he doesn't pull. What you want to do is basically, when you're at this point, you want to pull the board underneath you. So what I do is like I push with my front hand, I tuck, like I pull with my backhand, and then I tuck my back leg underneath me. So doing that movement is what's gonna put the board flat back towards the beach, and it's gonna bring that tail right underneath your butt. So you're gonna be able to finish the rotation with projection downwards again. So that's like a big giveaway, like the reason why you see, he lands now, he's like on the wrong side of the board and like that, You can land those ones, but it's always, you're gonna be like kind of trailing in the white water, then the board's gonna catch, then you're gonna be able to roll over the board again, so it just takes more.
For those ones, you need a big section.
Yeah.
And if you have the right technique, you can even do them in the white water if you hit it in the right time with it.
So that a
Push
lot
that
of
Marc is
pozo.
saying, bringing the sail
Squeezing one
forward.
out. Yeah.
It's super important, like to do that movement, pushing with the front hand, pulling with the backhand, and then bringing that board underneath you, like tucking it under your body.
Yeah.
So you are in control of it.
You don't want to be scared of over rotating a 360. It's almost better because then you're gonna do the move that Marc just said, like bringing the front hand to the front. Even if you over rotate, it's nice to see the move, how it would be. As many times we over rotate the 360s on big sections.
Yeah.
So there's a moment where you also have to like stop it and don't overdo it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this one, it's like once again it's the same. Like he really, I mean the section is like in the wrong part of it. Like this, it's hard to land a 360 on a section like that, you know, because basically you are on the wrong side of it. You would want it the opposite way, you know, that the white water is here and you're going against that white water, which is the power source. Here he's going into the clean face, which unless it closes out and gives you that push, it's really hard to land. But once again, you can see here he rotates and then he just hangs off the front arm, you know, and the board was like on rail instead of like being flat sitting on the tail to get that pop and projection. You know? So once again, you just need to push and pull and tack underneath you. Yeah. I think that's, yeah, you see this section was the right one. You can see already, you see that he kind of got dragged with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's why it's so important to choose the right section. Let me have a look again. That was this one.
Yeah, this is what
you can see.
mean, yeah.
Because
You
the
see?
wave is breaking to the left. That's what you want.
Yeah.
And you see
A little bit that.
he's like close to the boom now. Board's flat on the tail. You can see it's going flat into the white water.
Yeah.
You see how much different? Like you can see all the pop and projection going back into the wave. Problem is again he didn't push and pull and tack underneath him. That's why he kind of trails with the wave, but he's not really able to get away from it.
That was his best attempt, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Here just a round, you know, like a round wave, but he rotated well.
Yeah.
Yeah. This section was against, you know, on the wrong part of the wave, but you could see. Yeah, you can just see that's like his biggest mistake, you know, not really, besides like selecting the right section, just not pushing and pulling to tack underneath the board. So
some golden tips for Thomas.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think with this he should at least make some goose screws.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Then
we have
some.
I think also Polish, Kuba. Could be. He also has some back loops. Let's see if we can find him. Ah, yeah.
Back.
Different perspective. Ooh.
Yeah, you can see.
He's going pretty high. It's good.
Yeah, he's hanging off the front of the boom. You see? It's just like this instead of tacking and then bringing it around. You know, he doesn't, like when you do a backloop, you want to do an arc like this. You don't want to do like that, kind of, which is what's happening here. Because he's doing a great job actually to control, because but you can see his body here is like hanging off the front of the boom instead of like being at the back of the boom, falling like that with the gear in front of him. So that's the main trick you want to do. You know, that's why he gets so much pressure. But he's actually doing a great job controlling, you know, because it looks pretty windy. It looks hard. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Basically same tip as with Thomas.
Yeah.
Tuck into the gear.
Yeah.
What you say, yeah. But well done, not killing himself. That's good.
It's pretty good. Yeah, but you can see he's kind of falling. He is stacked, but you want that, you know, you want to try and do that arc. That's the main goal. And then landing with the gear in front of you.
And then another.
Second one, that's a meaty wave.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Where I want with this. Let's pump a bit.
Here he took longer
Yeah.
to rotate.
Takeoff is good.
Yeah.
You can see that the board, like, is like pretty open and the board's kind of pointing downwind. So then he kind of then needs to get to this position, get back more vertical and more into the wind, and then rotate. But I think this one, if he could have, instead of projecting more that way, if he would have gone a little bit straight up, you know. Sorry, I'm struggling. Yeah, and I think he just needs to tuck himself, you know. Try and stretch more the front leg. For me, this made a huge difference when I was learning backies. Like, try to really stretch the front leg and really keep the back one tucked, and then look over the shoulder, because that really helps to point, like, instead of like the bottom like this, it helps you kind of point and do the arc, kind of. So that's a trick that helped me, you know, try and really exaggerate that leg positioning.
No, it's...
you can see here is like kind of, like,
I think
tail first
his
dropping.
arm could be also farther back, just to do more like a bit closer to the gear, and don't leave the sail so open.
No.
Yeah, and here is like, it's hard because you cannot see what his face is doing.
But it looks like he's looking over like this,
Yeah,
so maybe you should...
Yeah, exactly. So look over the shoulder where you want to go, you know.
Yeah.
And then you can see he started kind of dropping down, like, but he's dropping down tail first, you know, and you want to turn when you're at the top. So basically, always what I try to do is like project straight up, and when you get to the top, you tuck yourself, you bring the boom close to you to have that control of the power. You tuck yourself, look over the shoulder, and point, like, spot the landing and point where you want to go. And as you start rotating, you bring the gear in front of you, and you keep the sail closed. You stay at the back of the boom, you know, controlling that power that is coming into the sail again. You can see here he rotated pretty late, and he's just dropping, you know.
He's dropping into the back.
And you can see the legs are both like this,
Yeah.
you know, and he's not really extending the front one, you know. Again, I think that might be a tip. You see, he's just hanging off the boom.
Yeah.
He's going with it.
Yeah.
He's not really doing that arc, you know. That's thing for him. It might be a good tip, you know, just the front leg and trying to look over the shoulder. I think it might help him do that arc a little more.
Yeah.
That's just my point of view. And
I agree as well.
And maybe switch to do-your-own sails, they help as well.
what's that for you?
Maybe switch to do-your-own sails.
That's for sure. That always helps.
Huh?
But pretty good attempts, you know.
Yeah,
Like it looks super windy, and you know it's not.
And he's getting the height as well.
He's sending it, yeah.
It's pretty good.
Let's see what else we have. We have something from Joost and from Mario. Which guy which one
Let's
first?
go for Joost.
Let's go with
Joost.
Joost. Yeah, I
Joost.
don't know who this guy is, but there is this one push loop. I wanted to go this year again. So what do I do wrong? And how am I going to land this? It's at the wall.
Not bad. Pretty good.
No, it's wet, but I'm missing something, eh?
Let's go back. Oh shit, sorry.
Couldn't let this opportunity go, of course, to have two guys analyzing my push loop.
I think the biggest problem here is you are not pushing the gear in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
So like you do really good until here, and you see, like you're at the front of the boom like that. Like yes, you're pushing, but because you're in the front, you're not pushing the sail to the front. You're not really getting that power to help you back up with the sail. You know, that's why the rotation gets a little slower. You see,
Yeah.
your arms are
We leave
extended.
the sail behind.
Yeah,
To
needs
bring
Exactly.
forward,
And
okay.
it's like
forward.
that. You know.
Then you will absorb the landing, because then when you open like this, you stop,
Yeah.
but you stop it not going down with no wind at all, like here.
Yeah, here was a
Yeah,
trick,
you just go with the inertia. No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. Actually, last minute, sort of got on the toes.
So you would have landed a bit on the tail here, you like
Yeah.
flat.
So that's, you know, you just don't push, you push and bring the sail forward. You know?
Yeah.
Like bringing that sail forward is what helps the power to get back into the wrong side of the sail. so you get the full rotation faster.
Yeah.
The ramp was not easy. You choose a ramp that was steep just at the top.
Yeah.
So choosing a really steep ramp, it will help you to have everything, to think a bit, not think a bit, but have slightly bit more time to think to bring the sail forward on the landing.
Yeah, it was not so much height, yeah.
It's pretty good though.
This is a 360 attempt, but yeah. It's also not the best section.
Yeah, I think here the problem you have is the section, first of all. Like you would be
me.
here.
Yeah.
Exactly in that part of the wave. And then the board, you see, kind of punched through the white water.
Yeah.
If you would have kind of stepped on the tail and just tried to place it flat into that white water, you probably could have spun back into the wave anyway.
Okay.
You know, like really trying to, you know, push on the tail and bringing the board flat so it just punches.
There's a lot of water flying.
And then, you know, it's just because you hear it like late and in an awkward position, you know, get off balance. But then you could have landed even outside the wave just by pulling on the backhand and pushing on the front hand a little bit more like Thomas, you know. You see? Because you're landing more on the inside rail instead of landing on the tail like if you would land a jump or a forward. So
nice. Good tips.
That's the main tip.
Yeah.
Let's see today with the free wave.
Today it's going to be free with time.
Now you have one more from our lovely Mario. He sent 200 videos.
See that? Good.
Let's see.
First one. What does he want to work on?
I don't know. Everything, I guess.
We'll figure it out.
Wave riding.
Oh,
That's
nice.
pretty good. That's some way. It looks
Goes on
pretty
the
powered up.
3.0 is he on here.
Yeah. Like the first thing you can see, it's like his backhand is quite far back, so like probably sliding it a little bit further forward just to let that power. You know, because he's like pulling and leaning a little too much, and the wind is really onshore. So that's mainly why he gets a little bit more caught up. But that's a pretty sweet turn actually.
Yeah.
Comes around pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, but I think that would have to help
Move the backhand a bit, Mario.
a
Yeah.
little bit further forward.
Yeah, just to leave the sail a bit more open off the top.
I think that's stalled forward as well. So you can see he moves the backhand a little bit. It's not enough. Like it's fine moving it a little bit when you are taking off, you know, and going into that climbing position just to get the control of all the power you have on the sail. But here, you see, when you are in this position, you need to take that time when the sail is open now to just slide it all the way back, and then you pull the sail across. You know, that's, I think, the biggest tip. It's pretty good though. I think if you would have just slided the backhand further back and just pulled the sail across, then he would have just gotten that whip and that perfect landing. You know,
when it's super windy, it's hard to stay in control. But here he goes. Okay.
Nice. I mean, what I would have done, I think that it's just more like a choice. That, for example, here you can see straight away in the bottom turn, it's like, he doesn't really prepare. He's like standing like this. He's like super upright, you see?
Yeah.
There's no drive really there, you know, like he's just sitting on the board straight up. So probably what he should have done was just prepare the bottom turn a little more and then just commit a lot more with the chest more facing into the wave and pushing the sail forward, you know. And then he probably could have gotten to this part of the wave, smacked this part of the wave, and then he had time to go on this one. And here he cuts the turn a little short as well. So then here, in my opinion, he could have just tried, instead of stopping here, should have just, you see he's looking back as well, should have tried to look back to where he wants to go and just try to keep driving on that front foot, you know, while you push on the back one, you know, because he was looking back and then he opened the sail and then you just cut the turn short, you know, instead of like keep on like driving that rail down and looking where you want to go, so the rest of the gear follows.
You need to commit, Mario.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then this one, that's just the right thing again. Just the backhand sliding a little forward again would have helped a little bit. It's
That is hard because when you come from a first stand that you don't have so much projection, it's hard to get momentum on the second
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Especially on a tricky wave like this one, where the section is really like not pushing you
Yeah.
to get to the next one.
Yeah. And the wave sometimes even running away from you a bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's difficult. Yeah. Well, it's
But he's sailing really good.
yeah.
pretty good sailing.
Not
Mario.
much to say.
Yeah.
No.
Just
You
like
got it,
small
Mario.
things. Good job, Mario.
Good job. Mario. Good job. Continue. Good. I think those were all the clips, guys. Thanks a lot for taking the time to run it through. I hope
No problem.
they have enough to improve and to work on. And otherwise, they have to join the clinic next year.
Why
No?
not? You
Well,
guys
good.
are welcome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Joosti.
Thank you, Josh.
Thanks, guys. Super.